Hey, welcome back to my channel. I was talking about doing a deep dive on the 6 countries that I was looking into to move abroad, and I'm back for the second country. I've already done Albania. I will link that video down below, and if you want to find out more information about these 6 countries, the next country is going to be Colombia. It is on my list. I wanted to get this out faster, kind of like one after the other, but I've been really like distracted because I've been trying to figure out how we're getting our pets, where we're going. I still don't have the place set in stone, and I will, and I will reveal that later, probably toward the end of this deep dive series. But for right now, we're going to go through the rest of the country. This is number 2, and we are going to talk about the pros and cons of immigrating or becoming an expat in Colombia. Of course, there are various different parts of Colombia. Some of the popular parts of Colombia that I've heard of is Medellin. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I apologize if I'm not. And then it starts with a C. I'm not even going to go there, but it starts with a C. So those are like the 2 popular ones that I've seen the most. But you know, it's the whole country. I'm not going to go into the specific parts of Colombia. I'm just going to go overall the pros and cons of Colombia. So if you're interested in learning more about Colombia, stay and watch, follow along. And if you haven't, make sure you press that subscribe button and that like button and hit the notification bell so that you can get updates for whenever I make a post. First, we want to talk about the pros of moving to Colombia. Cost of living is one of the number 1 pros of moving to Colombia from the US and living in Colombia. Your money stretches further in food, rent, and services. Number 2, beautiful, diverse landscapes and culture. Always. I mean, I just feel like with so many of these countries, that's like almost a number 1 thing. That's something that you can always count on, I should say. Mountain, beaches, coffee. Who doesn't love a good Colombia dark roast, medium roast, whatever it is, whatever you like. So yeah, definitely beautiful culture, landscapes. You know, you gotta, beaches are close by. In most parts, especially the popular expat communities, usually have a lot of like the beaches and things like that. That is what makes them popular. And also number 3, there's a growing expat and digital nomad community. In Medellin, Bogota, Cartagena, not sure if I'm saying that right, but that's Cartagena. I hope that's right. I'm definitely not even close to learning Spanish, but I'm still practicing. Those are seemingly the top picks for expats and digital nomads. Also, friendly locals, rich culture, food, music, warmth everywhere. The weather is warm, the people are warm. What more could you ask for? That is our 4th pro. And then number 5, quality healthcare in the major cities. And that would probably be Medellin, Bogota, Cartagena. I'm not sure if I said that right. But yeah, good healthcare. Affordable, quality, that's what we want. We want that. We do not have that here in the United States. Not only is it not affordable, but it's very questionable. Okay, very questionable. So let's talk about the cons and the realities of things that you can face migrating to Colombia. Safety varies by region. Make sure you're researching the neighborhood you're going to migrate to. Make sure you're checking to see, any type of like travel alerts, anything like that. Make sure you sign up for, I think it's called Smart Alerts, where you can pick whatever country you want, and you can get notifications that go to your email to let you know that there's protests going on in the area, inclement weather, anything that you need to be warned about as far as safety is concerned. Bureaucracy and paperwork, that seems to be almost on every list. Visa applications, apostilles, translations, all those things can be very confusing, especially when you're trying to do it on your own. Like me, I'm trying to do a lot of these things on my own. As I was saying earlier, figuring out the pet process has been really, really stressful, and it's been really getting me down. And it's also been making me kind of second guess my decision, but I know that that is going to happen. So I'm just rolling with the punches. I'm trying to do my due diligence, and I'm just going to go from there. That's all I can do, is do the best that I can, because I can't afford a lawyer. I can't. Also, there's so many sketchy people out there. I don't know who to trust. People are using this as an opportunity to like take advantage of people, and I do not want to fall victim to that. So that is a con in this whole process, if I'm being honest. Now, banking and income management can be an issue too. Banking locally, ATM fees, things like that. But there's options for that. You can get like a Charles Schwab account that refunds you ATM fees. So just look into those things. And that is going to be something that you have to do wherever you move outside of the United States. So those are just things you want to be aware of anyway. And of course, the language barrier. That's why I'm trying to learn Spanish, because I feel like I'm probably going to end up in a South American country where Spanish is the main language. So I need to make sure that I can immerse myself in that community, in that culture. That is up to me and to you as well. If you're considering moving to a different country, it is up to you to try to learn at least some of the basic language. And one of the other cons is the infrastructure, especially if you're outside of the city in the more rural areas. It can be tricky. It can be, kind of hard to deal with, maybe hard to get around. But if you're planning on staying in more of the popular cities, you may not run into that issue. All of these cons and even some of these pros are situational. They're based on you. It's not really like a blanket situation. Everyone's going to have different obstacles. And that's with anything. That's with anywhere you go. There's going to be obstacles for everyone that are not going to be cookie cutter for everyone else, if that makes any sense. Now, let's talk about the digital nomad overview. Most of the things that I will be talking about and giving like deep diving in and giving like pros and cons about or whatever are going to be based on my situation and my experience. So with all of these countries, any of these countries that I go to, any country in particular that I choose to go to, whether it's the 6 that I've named or, I don't know, some other random country that I find down the line, if I'm going to be applying for a visa, it's probably going to be a digital nomad visa. So with that being said, let's talk about Colombia's digital nomad visa, the overview, what that visa is called. It is called the Visa V Nómadas Digitales. I'll put it on the screen. It gives you the opportunity to live in Colombia while working for another company that is based outside of Colombia, preferably in the US. So you cannot work for a company that is in Colombia, that is based in Colombia, is owned in Colombia, which I'm pretty sure a lot of us know that. A lot of us have an understanding of what a digital nomad visa is. It is valid for up to 2 years, but it could be shorter. So it depends. Sometimes they'll give you 2 years. Sometimes they'll give you 1 year. That is the one thing about Colombia that has me like kind of not really having that on the top of my list, because there's not a path for permanent residency. You get max 2 years on a visa. That's the max. And there's no path after that for permanent residency or even temporary residency outside of that 2 years, at least for now. They could change it. I don't know. Things are getting really strict when it comes to visas and just like expats in general. So I don't expect these countries to change things to make things easier. I expect them to start making things harder. And that is the thing that worries me so much, because the places that I qualify for to get a visa, I qualify for them now, but who knows when they're going to change things. And you have to stay abreast to that stuff on your own. You have to make sure you're checking it on a regular basis. Don't think if you read about it last month and then you go apply for it 4 months from now, don't think that everything is going to be the same. Always just make sure you're checking those things periodically, because believe me, I'm pretty sure it'll be better for you in the long run, because it would suck to do all the work, do all these things, and then you find out that you're not qualified because you're $1 short, because there's income requirements too. And I'm gonna get into that now. So for Colombia, the income requirements for an individual is they want you to make at least 3 times the Colombian minimum wage, which is anywhere between $1,000 and $1,200 a month. So, just make sure you fall into that category. If you have dependents, I think you have to add like $450 per dependent or something like that. But definitely look into that. But I think that you would add an additional amount, but it's not like double the amount for an individual. So they, as far as the income, it's not that bad if you have like a work from home remote job that you can take somewhere else. So it's not that bad, but again, these things can change. So just make sure you're staying on top of it if Colombia is where you're looking to go. And then you need documents like your passport. Most places, your passport needs to be have at least 6 months of time left on it, or they won't deal with it because they want to make sure that your passport is not expiring soon. You have to have proof of your remote work, like maybe a letter from your employer or whatever. You'll have to have bank statements. I don't see a lot about pay stubs, but I would say when you go to apply for a visa, if you have it, take it. If you have it, give it to them. Give it all to them because that may make your process easier because you never know. Like I've heard so many things about visa applications, how it depends on what consulate you go to. It depends on the person that you're dealing with, like the agent that's taking care of your stuff that day. Like it's crazy. Like I don't like that makes me so anxious because like if you get someone that just is in a bad mood one day, they might just deny your visa just because they can. So like it's just factors. And I don't like to scare people. And I kind of hate when people do stuff like that, but these are just things that I've heard. And if you're doing any research on moving to other countries, you've probably heard these things too. So it's always good to at least be mindful of what could happen and what might happen. So you're not like, oh, you're not surprised after you've uprooted your whole life. So, just have a backup plan. Make sure that you're, prepared for whatever may come your way. And then, of course, a background check and then your fee for the visa. Now, the background check always just I don't really understand. I've heard so many different things. So you get the background check, which I've already done my background check. I have it sent to be apostilled. I'm waiting for it to come back. But so I'm hearing you get your background check, you have it apostilled. Some countries want you to translate it. And then I'm hearing that sometimes you don't have to translate it. They'll do it for you. Like, that's the part. There's always these little like caveats in all these visa processes that I just don't know, and I don't want to do anything that I don't need to do, especially if it's going to cost me any money. But at the same time, I also want to make sure that I'm on top of it because I don't want to, because at the end of the day, I may waste money. So like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like having a facilitator or a lawyer may be a good idea, but if you can't afford it, then you can't afford it. That's it. So if anyone wants to pro bono and help me do this, I would love you. I would love you. I really would. I'll make you some sourdough bread. Restrictions, you cannot work for Colombian employers. We've already talked about that. We all know that. I'm pretty sure we all know that at this point. The application for Colombia, it's online. You can do it online. Same thing with Albania. You can do their application online from the comfort of your home, which I think is really nice. But you will have to be in person for like the biometric things and your documentation to submit that. Because if you have to have documents apostilled or whatever, you can't scan that and submit that because it's like they have no way of telling if it's legit. So online application for Colombia. I think that's nice. It's always good to at least be able to like go through the steps and maybe do whatever you can do and then get the other stuff to them at a later date or, however it works, if it does work that way, because I'm not even sure if you can do that. Don't get me to lying. And of course, with all this, there's fees. So once you are approved for your visa, you have to pay for the visa. I think the range in prices for visas once you're approved is anywhere from like $300 to maybe like $500, somewhere in there. I'm not 100% sure. I don't have that exact amount, but I feel like I don't even care about that yet. Let me get approved first, and then I'll worry about that. And I'm pretty sure I've never seen a visa fee be like $2,000 or $1,000 or anything crazy. So if you're thinking about Colombia, Here is a checklist of things you want to ask yourself or things that you may want to consider. Number 1, do you earn above the required income threshold? Above would be better than right at it. You definitely want to be above, because if you're above it, then you know you're good. Second question, are you comfortable with handling paperwork and apostilles? Of course I'm not. But what choice do I have? Okay, I got to do what I got to do. That's just the question. That's the answer. I'm answering that question for you. The next one, do you want a city with co-working and good health care? Of course. And then the next one is, will you learn at least basic Spanish? If yes, Colombia will be a vibrant and affordable option for you. So there it is. There's Colombia in a nutshell. That's what I've learned about Colombia. If you have any questions, leave them below. I don't know everything. I have the internet just like everybody else. I'm just coming in and doing a little bit of deep diving on the 6 countries that I'm looking into. Now, this is my second country. Stay tuned for the next one. I'm not really going in any particular order, but stay tuned for the next one. I'll be coming with that one shortly. I wanted to get these out faster, like I said before, but I've been like frazzled. The last couple weeks, I've been kind of all over the place trying to figure things out. Because, there's a lot going on. Not only am I trying to figure out my dogs, we're trying to figure out what to do to the house, how to sell, how to get it prepared to sell. We're working on that stuff, but still, it's very overwhelming. Just thinking about it is overwhelming, and it is what it is. I mean, everyone's doing it. That's what I worry about the most. So many people are doing this that it may be hard, Anyway, in closing, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, leave any comments down below, click the notification bell so you can be reminded if I make any posts or notified if I make any posts. And yeah, then also leave a message down below. What would you like to know about? Like, what countries are you interested in? What countries have you been looking into? Maybe we can chit chat about that. But anyway, until next time.